We need to talk about plastic. It's everywhere now. It's in the air we breathe, in the water we drink, in the food we eat, and it's even in our bodies. It used to seem that plastic was a faraway problem just floating around in the ocean like a big trash island that we didn't really have to think about. That plastic is affecting wildlife and humans everywhere now, and we need to talk about it. Let me take you back in time when the first synthetic polymer was invented in 1869 by John Wesley Hyatt, who was inspired by a New York firm's offer of $10,000 for anyone who could provide a substitute for ivory. The growing popularity of billiards had put a strain on the supply of natural ivory obtained by killing wild elephants. By treating cellulose derived from cotton fiber with camphor, Hyatt discovered a plastic that could be crafted into a variety of shapes and made to imitate natural substances like tortoiseshell, horn, linen, ivory. Celluloid was praised as the savior of the elephant and the tortoise. Plastics could protect nature and the environment from the destructive forces of humans' needs. Ironic, I know. In 1907, Leo Baekeland invented Bakelite, the first fully synthetic plastic that contained no molecules found in nature. During World War II, plastic production in the United States increased by 300%. World War II expanded the use of plastics in the United States as the need to preserve scarce natural resources made the production of synthetic alternatives a priority. Nylon, invented by Wallace Carruthers in 1935 as a synthetic silk, was used for ropes, parachutes, body armor, and much more. Plexiglass was an alternative to glass for aircraft windows. Now, each year we generate more and more plastics. Only 9% of plastics get recycled. It's a difficult process to recycle plastics, and it turns out that the raw material created from recycled plastic can't currently compete with the new virgin plastic prices. Plastics degrade over time by weathering from water, wind, sunlight, friction, in the case of car tires, which releases plastic particles along roadways. Plastic eventually becomes microplastic, defined as less than 5 millimeters in size, like how grains of sand on the beach used to be big rocks. And you know how when you go to the beach and sand gets everywhere and it just won't seem to completely go away? That's what microplastic does. Microplastic has been found from the deepest place on Earth, the Mariana Trench, to the top of Mount Everest. Microplastic scientist Heather Leslie and her colleagues found microplastics in blood samples from 17 out of 22 healthy adult volunteers in the Netherlands. The finding, published last year in Environment International, confirms what many scientists have long suspected. These tiny bits can get absorbed into the human bloodstream. And babies might face particularly high exposures. A small study of 6 infants and 10 adults found that the infants had more microplastic particles in their feces than the adults did. Research suggests microplastics can enter the fetus via the placenta, and the babies could also ingest the particles via breast milk. The use of plastic feeding bottles and teething toys adds to children's microplastics exposure. It's not surprising this is happening when plastics are everywhere. In our clothes, in electronics, tires, packaging. Pay attention to how much plastic is on the products you buy and how much plastic packaging you throw away. It's astounding. Plastics are added to cosmetics, face scrubs, toothpaste, shower gels, and when washed off, enter the sewage system. They can often end up in sewage sludge from wastewater treatment plants, which is used to fertilize agricultural lands, or even in treated water released into waterways. Scientist Heather Leslie says there were around 3,000 plastic materials when she started researching microplastic over a decade ago, and now there are over 9,000, and each with its own chemical makeup and potential toxicity. The damage microplastics may do when it gets into our bodies isn't clear yet, but a growing community of researchers thinks there is reason for concern. Inhaled particles might irritate and damage the lungs, and although the composition of plastic particles varies, some contain chemicals that are known to interfere with the body's hormones. We can train ourselves to rely less on plastics. Reducing overall consumption will reduce plastic pollution, therefore reducing microplastics sneaking into the air and water. We can choose to avoid cosmetics and personal care products containing microbeads. Buy clothes made from natural fabrics like cotton, linen, hemp, instead from synthetic materials like acrylic and polyester. This helps reduce the shedding of microplastics during wear and during the washing process. And let's be honest, wearing plastic fabrics that don't breathe, hot and swampy. These tiny particles of plastic will never go away, and we will keep adding to them each year with the increase of plastic production. So will humans adapt and evolve with parts of us that are actually formed from plastic? Will we be dishwasher and microwave safe? I guess we'll find out.